So again, welcome everybody to Inspire's Sunday service. So great to be with you. This Sunday, we have the privilege of our very own Reverend Alfreda Lanoix doing our main teaching, and we have a God shot by Sydney Rogers. It's just a great Sunday already. And although I don't see, I don't think I see any new faces, but you know what? Let's do this anyway. If anybody's here for the first time, put your name in the chat and where you're from. And let's all just bless each other. Let's all raise our hands. And if everybody remember to mute yourself so that we don't have a lot of noise going on, make sure you're muted. So I'll say it and then you can still repeat it after me on mute, okay? Welcome to Inspire.
Welcome to Inspire.
We recognize you, we see you, we love you, and we know the truth about who you are. You are the image and likeness of God and nothing less. I honor you. We thank you. Welcome to Inspire. Thank you. So good to see everyone. And so as a reminder, we meet on the second and fourth Sundays of each month. Our next service will be September 26th. Reverend Jesse Brune Haran will be speaking on the topic, Making Joy Your Priority. So again, we're continuing our September theme of joy and feeling it every moment. And as we prepare for Reverend Alfreda's talk, let's open our hearts a little bit and meditate for a moment. How about that? So I invite you to close your outer eye. And as we close our outer eye, imagine that we can open our heart a little bit more wide, making ourselves open and available to God. And so we choose to give ourselves just a few precious moments in the stillness, consciously and deliberately following the breath. And as we inhale, in your mind, hear the words, I am. And as you exhale, in your mind, hear the word, joy. And for the next few moments, we'll simply inhale, I am, and exhale, joy. Again, paying attention to the heart area. And with every breath, imagine you're allowing your heart to expand. I am joy. Just following the breath. And ever so gently, I invite you to allow your attention to return to this time. Once again, becoming aware of your body temple, perhaps wiggling your fingers and toes. And I invite you to allow your heart to open even wider as I speak a word of blessing for today's gathering. Mother, Father, God, infinite intelligence, how thankful I am for this moment of prayer. Thankful for the wisdom to pray, and thankful for the wonderful technology that allows us to be together. And as we join together, I do remember that God is all that there is. I do remember that all that there is God, the only power, the only presence, life itself, God, only God. And it reveals and expresses itself in me, as me, and through me. It reveals and expresses itself as each one present here today. We show up individually and collectively as God itself, nothing less. And so I'm thankful for the unique and specific way that God has shown up this day. I'm thankful for the unique and specific way that God speaks through Sydney Rogers, the unique and specific way that God speaks through Reverend Alfreda Lanoix. I know that each heart is touched and ignited, that creates a flame, a fire, a brightness that is so bright, darkness cannot exist. And so we get to light up the world with our smile. We get to light up the world with our joy. And we get to become full, so full that we are overflowing. And just our presence, in fact, just our thoughts, just our conscious awareness of our own divinity creates a world that works for everyone. So we each give thanks to ourselves for showing up today, keeping this divine appointment. I know that everything unfolds with ease and grace, and that everyone present, everyone who joins late, everyone who isn't even here benefits because we said yes to showing up for God and as God. God is celebrating us now, and I'm thankful. I do release this prayer. I let God take over, guiding and directing us from glory to greater glory. It is done, and so it is. Amen. Amen. So welcome once again, everyone, to Inspire's Sunday service. So good to see you. We've got a wonderful treat. We're going to keep the intention of joy. And show of hands, who recognized that song when we came in? Kind of fun, right? Anyway, I'm going to invite Reverend Tom Hennessy to anchor us in our mission statement. Tom.
Okay, and thank you. Thank you, everybody. And let's join together our mission statement. You can say this aloud in the privacy of your own home. And let's go. Inspire is a spiritual community of like-minded souls committed to walking our talk in joyous fellowship by demonstrating the power of love, compassion, and non-judgment every day in every way. Recognizing the divinity of all life, we stand united by actively liberating humanity by healing judgment, fear, and shame within ourselves. Our intention to create world peace, piece by piece. Woohoo! And now I am going to introduce to you our God shot speaker doing it. Sydney Rogers, take it away. Where are you, Sydney?
I'm right here. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. My name is Sydney Rogers, and my pronouns are they and she. I've been with Inspire Spiritual Community for over 7-8 years now, or something like that. And just wanted to thank the committee for asking me to come and do this God shot. It's very interesting because August 25th this year, I turned 50 years old. Yeah, this is what 50 looks like, y'all. And I thought I was going to wake up and feel different. I thought 50 was going to be this, when you're in your 20s and 30s, you think 50 is a long way away. Honey, it's you blink an eye and eat an ice cream cone and you're 50. It's real quick. But there was this wave that washed over me because I kept thinking of all the things that I should have had done, all these things that I should have a book published, and I should have gone on tour, and I should have done all these things. And I kept thinking, uh, it's too late. Like 50 was the deadline of some imaginary deadline, and that it's too late. And from going to Inspire and understanding that God works when God works, and that things come at the moment that you're ready to have them, I realized that I'm right on time. I'm on the timeline already. And I started appreciating the the hurdles and obstacles and triumphs that I've achieved to come up to 50. Being a black trans femme, non-binary person, according to statistics, I'm not even supposed to be here. I'm not even supposed to be here. I mean, this was be in jail or in prison, or I'm 7 years clean and sober, but I'm supposed to be, in the streets doing all kinds of shenanigans. I'm not supposed to be in this place of peace and harmony that I feel like I'm in now. It's funny. I was driving to a business dinner last night, and I don't know. COVID makes people drive crazy, although people always did drive crazy. But I was driving and somebody was trying to cut me off, and my 30-year-old self, my 20-year-old self, my 40-year-old self would have been like, you ain't cutting me off. But my 50-year-old self said, go on, baby, go on. You must have something very important to go to. I'm gonna go eat my filet mignon, and I'm gonna eat my food. We went to a Brazilian restaurant last night. Everything. I was like, I'm not gonna get in an accident over. My food's waiting on me. I'm gonna go eat good. But there was something about that calm, that peace. That, hey, you go on, because I don't wanna get in an accident and cut my life short. There was something about that, and when I was given this prompt by Amina, the words vulnerability came up, gratitude came up, patience came up. I've always been an open book. I've always been this kind of person, you can ask me anything, but I realize there's still some things in my life that I have not shared, dived in, communicated with, created my art with, and I realize now, hitting this milestone, I have no fear. Does that make sense? I'm not scared of what people are gonna think of me. I'm not scared of what my mama might say. Mom, I'm 50 years old now. What? We need to heal. I don't have any fear of letting go of things that don't serve me anymore. And I'm still trying to do that. And the gratitude came in. I got into grad school last year. I applied during COVID, lit a fire underneath me. I got into grad school last year. I got a new job last year. I moved this year into a bigger apartment because when I got the new job, I got a promotion. And so I got more money, and like the blessings that came with that, I could have stayed where in my little studio, and I'm grateful for it, but it was like, no, it's time for you to move on up. God has opened up these doors for you to step into a new space. And again, 20-year-old self, 30-year-old self, 40-year-old self would have been like, I can't do that, I don't deserve that, I haven't paid my dues enough, all those things. Honey, I paid my dues, and then some. And understanding that, yes, I've paid my dues. And I just took on I'm, like I said, I'm 7 years sober, and I just took my first new sponsees this year. I kept thinking, and for those of you who don't know, in 12 step, we give back, and we take on sponsees, and we teach them what it means to stay sober and stuff. And one of the things that came up was, I kept thinking, I don't take sponsees because I don't have anything to share. What do I have to give? I don't have, nobody wants to listen to me. And then again, hitting that 50 was like, girl, you got stories, you got knowledge, you got wisdom. You can share all kinds of things with the people who want to listen. And so I took on not one but two, bless their hearts, dealing with me, dealing with me, but showing them how to live the world and how to see the world, and by talking to them, I get to see the world again too, and that the world is not a fearful place. I grew up thinking the world was a fearful place, and that being black and being trans, I had to walk around like this all the time. But coming to Inspire and doing some healing and doing some forgiveness work, I realized no, the world is a beautiful place. The world has so much to offer, and once the fists come down and the healing begins, um, I don't know, things get a lot get more brighter. Um, I don't know. There's something about that of finding that peace in everything, and I wish that for everyone in this room, that you find peace and joy in the middle of the chaos. I wish that you find patience with yourself and others in the middle of COVID and a pandemic. I wish that you find rhythm and push forwardness in the middle of a world that says everything has to stop. We can stop and ponder, we can stop and think, we can stop and rejoice, but we can always still keep pushing forward. Thank you all for having me come for this God Shot. I love this space, always have, always will, and have a good one, everybody. Ashe,
Mm.
you all.
Sydney, thank you so much. Always, always, always a pleasure to see you. What a blessing, what a blessing. So let's all just take a deep breath and just feel into feel into that vibration that was set by Sydney. And then I have the privilege of welcoming our very own Reverend Alfreda Lanoix to continue this wonderful vibration of joy. Reverend Frida.
Wow. Thank you, Sydney. It is always a pleasure to see you. It's always a pleasure to hear from you. I love you, and I've loved you from day one. From the very first time our paths crossed, I always knew that you were very special. And you are. And you're beautiful. Happy birthday. Happy 50th. I honor and salute you. Yes, 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 yes. I am so excited. You know, the things that give me joy, the simple things. I was so happy and excited about this opportunity to be able to continue the journey of joy, part two, because what I discovered as I was studying to be able to give this, I really discovered the power of joy, the power that we all have within us, and how it can assist us on our journey, on our day-to-day journey, because joy is our true nature. Joy is our true nature. And so all of those other emotions and things that we go through, those are things that are made and they come out of fear. But true nature, our being, is joy. And so I'm just so excited to be able to share part two about this thing called joy. You know, because there's so many things in life that we hear over and over and over again, but we don't necessarily know the true meaning of them. And when we discover the true meaning of it, we will realize and recognize that all that we need in order for us to be who we are, we already have. That's the beauty of joy. Now, okay, so just like when Garrett was giving the intro and praying and calling my name, I mean, when he said Reverend Alfreda Lanoix, that gave me so much joy to hear my name. And there was a time that when I heard Reverend Alfreda Lanoix, there was so much emotions that would be surrounding my name, because what it represented to me at that particular time was something that I could not live up to, something that was heavy, something that when you said reverend, that was going to be required, that I might not be the person to be able to give that. But when there is total acceptance of who you really are, there is a joy that when you are called upon and when you recognize that all that you are is all that you need to be who you are, there is a joy that comes along with that. And so when he called my name, I felt this sense of joy that he was calling my name and that this was my opportunity to step up, step in, and share. And so joy is your true nature. Now we're going to go over, and I'm going to be really kind of quick about this thing because I want to bring part one into part two. And so part one, we hopefully we discovered that your true nature of joy is being aware. Is to be aware. In other words, to live consciously. We talked about some of us are living on automatic pilot and we're just kind of going through life. We're just kind of doing the things that we've always done, whether they served us or not, because sometimes fear keeps us from going into what I call the unknown. And so we stay in situations. Sometimes we stay in marriages or relationships. Sometimes we stay on jobs that are not fulfilling and they're not content. But because of the fear of the unknown, we stay stuck. And so when you have joy, you begin, your true nature is you begin to live consciously. You begin to realize that the first thing of true joy is that you really are never separated from your awareness. See, you already know. You already know. Even without experiencing something, you already know because it is within you. Your insight and intuition lets you know. But a lot of times we ignore that because we've been taught to look on the outside. We've been taught to look for happiness instead of being joyful. Okay, so it says the first true quality of true nature is that we are not inseparable from our awareness. It is our true nature to be aware. It is our true nature. We're born with the awareness within us. We're born with what does it take in order for me to be all of who I am. And what we do sometimes is that we give that away. We give that away because other people's opinion become more important than what we feel about ourselves. And when you become aware, like Sydney said, that your opinion of me is not my reality, that can't do anything but begin to bring you joy from within. Because I'm no longer trying to live up to mama's expectations of who I should be, you know, or my relationship, my job, or even the God that they gave us. Woo, because you know, that's a big trap. Because in order for God to accept us and to love us and to be there for us, there were these expectations of what we needed to do and how we needed to live. And we never was able to live up to all of those expectations. So we constantly felt like we were falling short. And every time life showed up, we would blame God or blame ourselves. You can't have joy when you think you have to live up to something's expectations and some things that they're not who you really are. As far as like my sexuality, trying to live up, trying to be heterosexual. And what did that do? Well, it brought quite a bit of confusion. It brought quite a bit of pain to myself and to others, because I'm trying to live up to this expectation to be accepted by this man in the sky. Whew. But joy comes with my awareness that says, I am just who I am supposed to be. And I am accepting who I am. And by accepting who I am, it gives me the opportunity to allow you to accept the authentic person that I am. That's joy. Now, awareness is not something in addition to your true nature. It is not something that is inseparable from who you are. It is just like, and I told you this, heat is inherent to fire. In other words, if you got fire, you got heat. That's what awareness is. If you got Alfreda, I got awareness of Alfreda. And I know what brings me contentment. I might not be able to do it. I might not want to do it. I might not be brave enough to do it. I might not know how to say no to people, because that doesn't really work for me. But I know it. It is a knowing. You know when you're content. You know when that fulfillment is there. And you know when you sell yourself out. And we've been taught to sacrifice, to be the sacrificial lamb. I used to feel like, how can I be content with my life if my child is struggling? Well, your child's life belongs to your child. And if you take off the judgment and allow your child to have the experiences that your child wants to have, then you can have your life. You can stop living vicariously through other people. Then I can admire you. I can support you. I can love you. But I don't have to be you. And I don't have to compare my life with yours. So then I can salute you. Wow, they're going through some changes. They're making some choices. I can support you. I can open a door of opportunity for you, but I don't have to take on the responsibility of you. That is not your responsibility. That does not bring you joy when you feel like everything someone else does or does not do impacts your life. Ooh, true joy is the state of mind and the orientation of the heart. It is a settled state of contentment, confidence, and hope. Contentment. That's all we really desire, is to be content. To be content doesn't mean that you don't have a drive. To be content doesn't mean that you don't have desires for new experiences, but it means that wherever you find yourself, that fulfillment is there. That wherever you are, love is, God is, you are. That you don't have to get somewhere in order to be, but you can be where you are. That brings joy. Now listen to this. I shared that joy is not the feeling of knowing, because joy is not the feeling, it's without the evidence, because your soul knows all is well. See, your soul knows. And that's where your joy comes from. Your soul knows this too will pass. Your soul doesn't make a judgment call on you. Your soul knows that this is just a part of the journey. This is not the journey or the destination. That brings joy. Ooh. Joy is your true nature. Now, the Bible says, the joy of the Lord is my strength. What I'm saying is the joy of the source, the joy of the universe, the joy of love is your strength. Because we have never, a lot of us have never really experienced what it feels like to be supported. Because most of the time, the things that we experience or the support that we've gotten has been conditional. You do this, you get that. You bring home an A, you get praised. You promote on your job, you get a bonus. But we don't know that feeling of support, that no, there's nothing that you have to do. There's nothing that you have to earn. There's nothing that you have to be. There's no degree you have to have. There's no color of skin you need to have. There's no weight that you need to have. That joy, that support, that's the source. It is always there. It is always pulling for you. It is always supporting you without judgment. That should bring you some joy, because you don't have to earn it. You just have to accept it. Woo! Whew. It is in knowing that something is working on my behalf. Something is always working on our behalf. Our cells in our body, even though we abuse our bodies, even though we eat the wrong food in our bodies, even though we drink sometimes the wrong things in our bodies, even though we smoke in our bodies, the cells in our bodies are always working. It didn't say, I'm not going to work today because, she ate the wrong thing. No, it is always pulling. It is always working. It is always trying to give us our nutrients. It's always trying to give us joy, even when we don't take care and choose the things that will be for our wholeness and wellness. That's the source. And it works until it works itself out. Whew. There's a place inside where there's joy, and the joy will burn out the pain. Joseph Campbell. We've been made to endure for the night. In other words, we're going to go through some stuff. Life is going to show up. Life does what life does. It's called life. It's not going to always go in the direction you think it should go in. But we got what it takes in order to endure that. Because we can choose joy within any situation and at any time. We're never stuck. We can choose how we choose to make it, work through, get through whatever the situation is. We can take the rough side of the mountain. You remember that song? Old folks say, I'm climbing up the rough. No, honey, I don't want the rough side. Because sometimes we think when it's hard, it's real. When it's hard, it's significant. When I'm struggling, that makes it rich. No, that just simply makes the choices that you choose to climb the mountain. And I'm going to take the elevator. Joy knows that nothing lasts forever, and that this too shall pass. Joy gives you the strength to keep on keeping on. Joy is the tool that has been given to us, and joy is the inside energy. Joy is choosing to believe that it's all working out. Joy is surrendering and being. Joy is our true nature. Now, it is when we become aware. See, that's the key, is that when we become aware. And the thing that Sydney says, she says, is that there's no timeline. See, joy is recognizing, no, you're where you're supposed to be. There's no timeline. And when you become aware of that, you get out of the rat race of, I need to have accomplished this by this time. And I need, no, you're right on time. There's a lady that's called Iris. She's a beautiful woman. She's 100 years old, and she is working beautifully more now than she's ever worked. But she's doing what she loves at 100 years old, and she's loving it, and it's keeping her young. Your timeline is only a time that was created, but you do it in your own time. And joy is when you discover what it is that you love and you be it. But you got to take the time to discover it. And you got to be brave enough to go into the I don't know. And you got to be open. Garrett said, open up your heart just a little bit more. Ooh, just a little bit more. Some of us, we got that closed heart because somebody did something to us. People do their best. It's not personal. It's just who they are. Once you learn that, you move on. That doesn't work for me anymore. But I'm not going to allow that to close my heart. I'm not going to allow that to keep me from having the expressions and the joy of life because you were broken and I allowed you. Because when you take accountability, nobody can do to you what you don't allow them to do. You stayed on that job that you knew that didn't care about you. You stayed in that relationship that was not fulfilling because you felt like that you couldn't do better, or there was nobody else going to love you, or you had abandonment issues. Joy is the awareness of how powerful you are, that you create your own reality by the choices you make and the choices you don't make. Woo! And when you tap into that, how powerful you are. Some of us are so afraid of our power. We're afraid to make a move. We're afraid to shape the boat. We're afraid that people are not going to like us or they're not going to accept us. Well, let me give you some awareness. When you don't accept and like yourself, it doesn't matter what people feel on the outside. This, my friend, is an inside job. Now, listen to this. Ooh. Ooh. It's when we become aware. When the time comes, there comes a time when we have to get to a point when spiritual search ends. Now that's big. Because yes, it doesn't mean we always will continue to evolve and will continue to change, because that, my friend, is the nature of life. Life is constant evolution, evolving, and changing. But we have to get to a place where something within us, there's a shift in our deepest level and our desire to seek for the oneness, listen to this, Our desire to seek for the oneness, for the wholeness, and the enlightenment, it stops. Wow, that's big. Why you say that is, Reverend Frida? The answer is this: because we realize we don't have to seek anymore, because we will realize that all that we have been seeking for is already here. Wow. Because our true nature is always and forever within our reach. We always have a choice in this situation. Whether we see it or not, if we don't have the awareness, it does not take away from having the choice. Joy is always there. But we have free will. And so joy is not going to force itself upon you, but it's going to always be within reach, because it's going to always be within you. Because I said earlier, you cannot separate yourself from the nature of who you are. And joy is your true nature. It is the end of our identification with ego or me, and the beginning of understanding at the deepest level that we are life itself. Can I say that again? That we are life itself, playing out in many forms and fashions. We're it. You're it. Order my steps, Lord. You order the steps. The universe has done its part. You're it. You are it. You are it. You are life, playing out in many forms. You're ordering your own steps. You know, I hear people say, well, if it's God's will, God, it's your will. They want to make it God's will, so then when it don't turn out the way that they feel like it should turn out, they got something to blame. And they don't have to be accountable for those choices that you made at the level of understanding that you have, which should take away shame and blame. But you should still be okay with accepting, wow, you know, I made some choices. I don't know, what was I thinking about when I made that choice? That's being accountable. What was I thinking about when I married that woman or that man? That's being accountable. Maybe I was broken at that time. Maybe I was needy. Maybe I was looking for love in all the wrong places because my mama didn't give it to me the way I thought she should have given it to me, and I'm not taking the time to give it to myself. Maybe I'm living vicariously through my children because I feel like, oh, woe is me. I did not have the support, so I'm going to give them the support they need. And then when they get up and choose to do something different with their life, I'm upset. Life is playing itself out in many forms. You are ordering your own steps in your own words. You're playing a part in your own wholeness and wellness. The answer is always within. Now listen to this, the ego. The ego is you as you think of yourself in relations to all the commitments of your life as you understand them. We've made so many commitments to our life on our level of understanding, and then we get frustrated, and then we get tired, and then we get bored, and then we get suicidal because we've made all these commitments to our life and our level of understanding. Whew. Even the Bible says in all things get a understanding. You know, when I do couples counseling, you know, I tell them that one of the key components to having a healthy relationship is communication. It's understanding each other. If I don't understand you and I don't know where you're coming from, it's very difficult for me to accept. In all things, get an understanding. Take the time to ask the questions. Will this work for me? What am I trying to get from this? How is this going to serve my life? Is this a commitment that I really truly feel that I'm in love with? Or am I going through the motion trying to help or satisfy other people? The self is a whole range of possibilities that you never even thought of. So there's the ego with the commitment, with the level of understanding, with putting itself in places that it don't necessarily desire or love or like. But then there is the self, that when we tap into the self, there are realms of possibilities that we have no clue. We have not even began to think of. Because the self knows, which is the soul, that we are not stuck, that there is no right or wrong, that there is no judgment call, that we are life itself, and we are expressing and experiencing this thing called life. It knows that without having the experience, that the universe is always there, wanting for you what you want for yourself. But you got to know what it is that you desire. Our true nature is often described as boundless, all-prevailing, unconditional living. It is the space from which everything comes and returns. It has no beginning and no end. So there is no timeline. Listen, some of us, we're on a spiritual treadmill and we are exhausted. We are on a spiritual treadmill. We keep searching and searching how to become, how to live this life. We never live, we just search. We go from church to church, from religion to religion, from relationship to relationship. Woo! I was a Buddhist. I was a Christian. I was a Methodist. Just searching. We're on that spiritual treadmill, on and on and on. Woo, okay. But once we get the deep understanding, it's about joy and knowing that the joy, the contentment, the boundless that we need is inside. In other words, enlightenment. Now, let me tell you this, and some of you guys might not come back because I know sometimes, you know, I'm way out there. Enlightenment is the story created by the ego. Woo! Enlightenment is the story created by the ego that feels separate from the divine. And that's something that does not exist. Nothing separates you from the love of God. Nothing separates you from the divine, nor height nor depth separates you from you. Like you can't separate heat from fire. You're a package deal. You came with all that you need in order for you to express yourself this lifetime as who you authentically are. You just got caught up. You've just listened to other people outside of you. And so you search and you search and you search. Patti LaBelle said, I've been looking around and you were here all the time. The more we seek, the more we reinforce the separate self, the ego. The more the ego is reinforced, the more we seek. And we continue this cycle of unhappiness and desperation. We study and seek and study. I was at Inspire. Well, yeah, I got a little bit, but I need more. I need, oh, I'm gonna go to Science of Mind. Oh no, I need more. And our whole life is just a search, and it's never living, and it's never accepting, and it's never being. Woo! Enlightenment is the realization that there is no separation, that to gain anything personally from life, that there is only one life, and that life is you. Damn. Can I say damn? This is the true nature of joy. Wow, get off the treadmill today. Get off the treadmill today. You're exhausted, babe. You got all these information, you got all these notes, you got all these things. And instead of them reinforcing that nothing separates you, that you're it keeps pointing you to something outside of you. You're it. If there was never a book written, if there was never a preacher, if there was never a teacher, if there was never a Buddha, if there was never a Jesus, if there was never a Reverend Alfreda Lanoix, you still got it. You it. You are the true nature of joy. You just haven't exercised it. You just haven't come into awareness of it. You just allow life and what life brings to have power over you. You're it. Now I'm going to close. I'm going to thank Inspire for allowing me to have part 2. Because I just wanted you to know how powerful you are. I just wanted to share with you. See, I'm sharing, I'm not telling. I'm just sharing what works for me. I'm just sharing that when I tapped into my nature of joy, how I became content with my life. And if I became content with my life, it made room for me to explore other things. Because I'm content. I'm good. I'm loving the color of my skin. I'm good. I'm loving that I'm a female. I'm good. I'm desiring to lose some pounds, but if I don't, I'm good. That's what joy does. Makes you content with what you have. You don't envy other people. You don't know what they've gone through in order for them to create what they've created. That's theirs. If you stop comparing yourself, if I compared myself to T.D. Jakes, well, why don't I have a multi-million-dollar church? Well, why am I not all over the world? Well, because I don't want the responsibility of that. Ooh. When I'm truthful with myself, there were doors that opened. There were opportunities that presented itself. I didn't want to pay that price. There's a price you pay for everything. I don't want to pay the price of the responsibility of you, and you. No. I didn't want you to put me on a pedestal and then tear me down when you get ready. Because people are fickle. They love you as long as you are going their way, but the moment you stand on your truth, and if your truth is separate from their truth, those same people that put you up there are the same ones because of their pain. See, it's already pain because they're putting you up there, because they need to be putting themselves up there. Ooh, okay. Now, in my closing, I just thank Inspire for this opportunity always to share, because it just inspires me. I get to look at myself, and I get to look at my shortcomings and things that I need to maybe look at and embrace, and then things I need to let go of. I become more aware, and the more aware I become, the more joy I receive. Oh, I'm a happy heifer. Okay. Now, I'm going to close, but I'm going to leave you some things to look at, some steps toward joy. Okay? Number one, do what you love. And even if you spend a lifetime trying to figure it out, it's worth it. I would rather spend a lifetime finding out what I love than to spend 1 minute of doing those things that I don't desire and that don't bring me contentment and peace and joy. So, stop trying to measure success by the outer world. Success is how you feel within. So find what you love. Find your purpose. Find what gives you fulfillment from within. Might not be connected to a lot of money. And I know you do need to make money because we are humans in this lifetime. But it doesn't mean that you still can't find what brings you love. Sometimes it's a hobby. And because it's a hobby and you love it, it turns out to be the thing that supports you. When I discovered that I love to paint, I didn't go into painting thinking this is going to support me financially. It was not connected to anything outside other than the way it made me feel. And because I did it from that space, the space of love, people felt the love in it. And before you know it, it turned organically into something that supports me. I know you thought Inspire supports me. No, they don't. This is volunteer work. But I love it. And so when you do this love and this love together and this love together, before you know it, the universe is saying, let's support her. Because you're doing it from a different perspective. So do what you love, even if you spend a lifetime trying to figure what it is. Be grateful and appreciate you. When is the last time you have appreciated you? That means don't compare your life with others. That means if there's things inside of you that you want to change, then clearly make the efforts to change. But appreciate you. There's a meme that's out that I love, and it says, "Girl, you doing a good job." And so I'm sending that out. Guys, you're doing a good job. We're dealing with the pandemic. We're dealing with racism. Oh, you're doing a good job. Because when you're not letting those outside situations or circumstances impact the joy that you have within, you're doing a good job. Appreciate the small things. It says the flowers that are given, they give of themselves freely. Appreciate the small things. This morning I got up, I made myself a cup of coffee. And I sat with myself. And I appreciate those moments with myself. I appreciated and I enjoyed that cup of coffee. Are you trying to tell me there's nothing in your life that brings you joy. There's nothing in your life that you've done that you can't appreciate. You mean the whole thing has been crazy? That there's nothing, not even waking up the next day? Find the things in your life, the small things, and appreciate them. Share with others, not serve. I'm not here to serve you, but I'm definitely here to share. There's a difference between serving. I'm not a servant. I'm not here to serve you, but I love when I'm sharing with you. Because when I share with you, for me, it means that I first have given something to myself. Because you have to have something in order to be able to share something. Share your time. Share your insight. Share your money. You love Inspire. Inspire does a good thing for you. You appreciate what Inspire does. Show it. Share. We're not asking for all your money. We're not even asking for the 10% that they said you have to have, because if you didn't, you were stealing from God. We're not even making that mind trip on you. We're not even trying to guilt trip you. We're just saying, if you heard something and it inspired you, share it. Why is Inspire not all over the world? There's another memes. I love these memes, you guys. What can I say? That it says, the person says, well, why people don't know about you? And it says, how many people have you told about me? You know I do a good job. How many people have you shared about Inspire, or do you keep it to yourself? See, when you appreciate and you have joy, you want to share, you want to spread the good news. Spread the gospel of love. Share Inspire. Make it a point in your conversation. Somebody says to you, wow, I love the way you think, or your insight. Oh, yes, that's because I go to this place called Inspire, and I'm inspired. And I want to share that with you. Let me send out the link to 10 different people. Share. Share. Don't keep it all to yourself. Don't be the only person with joy. Spread the joy. Okay. And number 5, accepting yourself. That gives you unlimited freedom, which is joy. When you can accept all of who you are and realize that it is those difficult things, or those things that we call hard and wrong, are the things that have given us the greatest insight. It is those things that we call a mistake. It's those things that we have regret. Those are the things that build our foundation and allows us to know what it is that we truly want in our lives and what it is that no longer serves us. Accept your entire journey, everything about you. Accept it. Because it is the resistance to it that continue to attract it in your life. That you resist persists. That you accept goes away. Woo! And in my last closing, it says, joy is a protest against despair. Let me say that again. Joy is a protest against despair. Like hope, it doesn't ignore reality or suffering. Instead, joy chooses to look up instead of in or out toward our situation. That's big. Our purpose is to express ourselves authentically this lifetime. Joy is the true nature, which is always a choice. Joy first, and then everything else you have time for. And that was Abraham Hicks. Joy is the protest against despair. Like hope, it doesn't ignore reality or suffering. Instead, joy chooses to look up instead of in and outward. So if you get anything today, realize you have a tool called joy, and you can activate it anytime you choose. Know that nothing separates you from it because it is you. You are joy. It is your nature, it is your gift, and it has been given to you from the universe. Thank you, Inspire, for allowing me to expound on Joy Part 2. I just want you to know, again, that everything you need in order for you to be who you already possess it. There is no word, no Buddha, no Jesus, no preacher, no teacher that can give you what it is you already have. Get off the treadmill of spirituality, going from thing to thing, and stop and accept and go within. That will give you joy. All right. God bless you. That's it.